25 Summers, we back. So we're gonna talk about adult magazines in prison, pornographic magazines, and how serious it is. And you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, pornographic magazines is very seriously. I know one brother that had like about 400, 500 magazines in his cell, and he wasn't a stingy brother. He used to just let them out to brothers for their own entertainment. You know, we do put up the curtain, and we exercise our right to be men. And he lent out a book one time, man. And you know, guys, you gotta look at it like he takes it seriously. Over 500 magazines, so he lent one out to a guy on the gallery, and you know, wanted to borrow one of his books for a little entertainment, self-indulge entertainment. And I guess he ripped the page. He ripped one of the pages, and he left one of the pages indecent, man. Like, you know, by he maybe used Vaseline, you know, to exercise his right to be a man. And, you know, he didn't take care of his business when he borrowed somebody's property. But little did he know how seriously that this brother took his short eye magazines, and he got the magazine back, and he didn't say a word to the guy. He waited till the next time the doors opened, which was the night rec, which was about 6:30 that night. And he came out and he brought his knife with him, which was a shank that he made, you know, sharp metal dagger. And he stabbed the guy repeatedly, like 7, 8 times on the gallery. The guy stumbled down to the front of the gallery and fell on the floor. And by the time the officers got him to the infirmary to retrieve him, he was pronounced DOA, arriving up at the infirmary. And that's to show you how serious things, like things that you guys might think is trivia. Like, let me ask you a question. How many people think, what's 5 stamps to you? 5 postage stamps, whether they 35 cents or 25 cents. No one knows even how much a postage stamp costs. But is that something to you that you would think is a very, very serious matter? No, you wouldn't, because 5 stamps is trivia out here in America. But little do you know, 5 stamps inside the penitentiary is a very, very serious thing to people. It's a commodity, and brothers cherish that. They cherish it like they would want parole. And to mistreat them, use them, con them, rob them, steal them out of anything like that in abundance that you have, is grounds for war. And things happen. And there are plenty of situations and cases where inmates are repeatedly stabbed, sliced, cut, beat up, everything for misusing people's property, stealing people's property. And the only thing that we really have that we can honestly say ours is, you know, food, commissary, canned foods, stamps, cigarettes, cigars. Things like that are precious commodities in the penitentiary, man. So if any of this stuff is being mistaken or misused, you can expect some type of repercussion to come behind.
So where do inmates get the adult magazines from? Do they order them? Are they sent to them? Do the guards bring them? How does that work? And are they allowed in New York State prisons?
Yeah, they're allowed, and to the answer to the question, all the above. Your family members can mail them to you. You can order them from the publisher, and there's officers that'll bring them in for certain brothers, man, that are okay with them, cool with them. Not everybody. That's a special treatment thing. But a girly magazine, man, is like a really precious commodity, man. Maybe at the top of the food chain in the penitentiary, you know. But yeah, they coming in, and they allow in New York State, so you can have. But they do keep limit on how many you can have in your possession. And most of the max jails in New York State I've been in, they were saying 50. You can have 50. But then, like I said, there are other inmates who accumulate way more than 50, up in the hundreds, 3, 4, 500 of them. And those are the guys that really takes those magazines very seriously.
You mentioned something about a visiting room arrest involving some females. Do you care to share with us that story?
Yeah, there was this one situation where when I was in Elmira, right, and they had the Prison Gap bus that comes up to bring your family. Prison Gap is a bus that you meet up on J Street in Willoughby down in Brooklyn, and it takes you overnight and it brings you up to the facility that your loved one is in, and you get to share a 6-hour visit of the day. And this particular day, there was a woman, you know, that comes and visits her husband frequently as well. She served as the bus coordinator, which means she gathers up the people. She get the amount of people that's going to the facility. I think the buses takes like maybe 20, maybe 30 people. She gathers them all together and they get this stuff together and they go up to say, on this particular day, the officers happen to run up in this guy's cell, which happens to be the prison coordinator of the bus, this female. Her husband is in the penitentiary with me, and they run up in his cell, and they happen to find him with contraband, marijuana and some heroin. And they apprehended him, and they took him to the processing room to be, processed for a new crime. Before they can actually process him for a crime, they actually grabbed his wife outside because she was in the visit intake and she was coming in to visit him. So once they grabbed her on the outside, she in turn turned around and told the officer that there was 3-4 women on the bus and they all was moving prison contraband, which means they was all bringing in marijuana, things, prison contraband, illegal stuff behind the checkpoint. And subsequently, 3 women got arrested. They was all prosecuted. Some of them lost their jobs back home. Some of them served, 2 of them served 6 months in the women's facility. And the other one, I think a case, she got an RR, and then I think she got some type of probation and some type of community service. But the lesson that I learned with here is that there's a lot of underhand stuff going on, and that one particular day in the visit room affected me as well because I was waiting on a visit, and my visit was delayed for 2.5 hours because of this altercation that occurred on the visit room.
So did they the lady who was bringing it in from the outside, was she charged and arrested? Did she receive jail time, or do you not know?
What I do know of that situation is that she was charged, with promoting prison contraband, which was, the amount of stuff that she was bringing in, but then she cooperated and she fingered 3 of the other civilian women that was coming in, wives of guys that was inside with me. She fingered them, so they cut her a deal. She got a lesser situation. I heard that she ended up getting 5-year probation and term for her statements against the women that was coming up on the bus with her.
So were they banned from visiting the prison after that?
Right. The inmate had the misbehavior report, and then the fact findings at the misbehavior report was 2 years of loss of visitations. That means the woman can't visit the guy, and the guy can't receive a visit from this particular woman because they was found with committing an offense on the visit room property.
So after 2 years, can they visit?
Yes, she can reapply, and the superintendent deems that she served out her punishment, man, and they in most cases they reinstate them and let them come back to visit again.